How about Hitler?
I don't know him and don't want to.
This is Emma Goldman, a Lithuanian-born anarchist revolutionary, political activist, and writer. Born into a Jewish family in 1869 in Lithuania, under Tsar's rule, she frequently saw peasants being beaten on the streets and enduring a strict, abusive father, both of which fueled her lifelong distaste for violent authority. Being a dedicated student, she passed the exam for admission into a gymnasium, but her religion teacher refused to provide a certificate of good behavior, and she was unable to attend.
After moving to St. Petersburg, her father opened one unsuccessful shop after another, eventually pushing them into poverty, forcing her and her siblings to work. When she asked her father to go back to school, he refused, saying, "Girls do not have to learn much. All a Jewish girl needs to know is how to make gefilte fish, cut noodles fine, and give the man a lot of children."
In 1885, she joined her sister Helena to move to New York, where she met Alexander Berkman and Johann Most. She was inspired by Most's fiery oration advocating for propaganda of the dead, or the use of violence to instigate change. Most took her under his wing, training her in public speaking.
There, she discovered her true calling, a political rebel and an orator who would spend her entire life calling for social change. After learning about several activists that were executed in the US, she was drawn to the labor movement and eventually into anarchism. Contrary to what that might suggest, Goldman's philosophy was not about disorder and chaos. It was about rejecting the institutions she believed were dangerous to the personal freedoms of people.
As an adult, Goldman became one of the most radical figures in America, going as far as being dubbed as the High Priestess of Anarchy. Through her years as an activist, she was sent to prison for multiple times, once for discouraging men to join the army, once for encouraging those in poverty to commit theft as a last resort, and once for inspiring the assassination of President William McKinley.
Although she was hostile to the suffragist goals of the first wave of feminism, Goldman advocated passionately for the rights of women, and today is heralded as the founder of anarcha-feminism, which challenges the patriarchy as a hierarchy to be resisted alongside state power and class divisions. In 1897, she wrote, "I demand the independence of women, her right to support herself, to live for herself, to love whomever she pleases or as many as she pleases. I demand freedom for both sexes, freedom of action, freedom in love, and freedom in motherhood." Goldman proved to be the biggest thorn to the side of American authorities, which led to her deportation in 1919. She was deported back to Russia, which had a social revolution itself. What she saw there was not the utopia she fought for. Instead, it was just another repressive regime. Traveling abroad, she spoke out on the oppressiveness of the Soviets and the fascism of Hitler's Germany. At the end of her life, when the goals of her cause seemed more and more impossible, Goldman never wavered in her beliefs, famously saying to a crowd of 10,000 during the Spanish Civil War that "your ideal has been my ideal for 45 years and will continue to be until my dying breath."
Throughout her life, she believed in the power of persuasion through education and debate, often delivering speeches to inspire others to join the cause. Additionally, she utilized her writing to disseminate anarchist ideas and critique oppressive systems. Goldman was not afraid to confront authority directly, participating in protests and strikes, advocating for radical change through non-violent and sometimes confrontational means. Her work in the late 19th and early 20th centuries embodied the concepts of power structures and challenging societal norms. Goldman's advocacy for anarchism challenged traditional power structures, highlighting the power dynamics within the society by promoting decentralized governance and opposing hierarchical authority. Additionally, her involvement in social movements like labor strikes and women's rights campaigns exemplified the mobilization of collective action to challenge societal norms and advocate for marginalized groups. Her work contributed to an increased awareness of feminist principles, inspiring activism for social justice, labor rights, and challenge traditional power structures. Although her exact beliefs has not been explored today, present parallels to her movement include ongoing struggles for autonomy, equality, and social justice, with movements advocating for decentralized governance, gender equality, and workers' rights. She hoped that her example could light the way for future generations as well.
Years before her death, she wrote to a friend and former lover, "We are voices in the wilderness, much more so than 40 years ago. I mean voices for liberty. No one wants it anymore. Yet it seems to me that just because of the present mad clamor for dictatorship, we of all people should not give up. Someday, sometime, long after we're gone, liberty may again raise its proud head. It is up to us to blaze its way. Dim as our torch may seem today, it is still one flame." Goldman was well known during her life. described as, among other things, the most dangerous woman in America. After her death and through the middle part of the 20th century, her fame faded.
And where I decided to devote myself to the presentation of anarchism, a social philosophy which aims at the emancipation, economic, social, political, and spiritual of the human race.